Okay. Let me turn my side. Is that better? Okay. Dang it. See, this is what I was worried about with this setup. All right. See, I think we're out of here. Let's do this. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you great now.
Okay. Well, we'll keep with this, and I may tweak some more things in the future. All right. Well, anyways,
Sure.
How you doing? Welcome back.
I'm doing good. It was a crazy game last game, actually. Very well, it was like topsy-turvy in the sense that DileCom was owning, destroying them, won all 3 lanes, and then just went downhill at like 20 minutes, very, very quickly.
Yeah, that was something. Again, especially with Lone Druid in their hands. Again, we talked about him as he was drafted in that first game, just how popular the hero's been, and for very, very good reason, of course. But not to say that he played it very poorly by any means, but in the end, the strategy just ultimately didn't come together, and we'll see how they first pick this time around. They got the first pick, which is set up, and okay, they're gonna take a page out of Infamous's book, and they go Luna. Now they banned Shadow Demon themselves, so. They're not going to get it, obviously, but at least they don't let Infamous get it, so still like the ban there.
Yep, and DileCom, they really want the Luna this time. I would expect Infamous to take the Lone Druid. Just because someone loses with that hero doesn't mean it's bad or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I could easily see them taking Lone Druid here. I would say that they would have a better start because, like I said in it, extrapolated last game, it's not really, to me anyway, the Luna that's Luna's very, very strong, don't get me wrong, but in the combo sense, of course Underlord, I don't know why I forgot about him, but in the sense of SD Luna, I think SD is the culprit. Just as whenever you have like these annoying healing lamps with like Huskar or pushers with healers, I think it's the healers that are the bigger problem than the hero that's in the front line.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, it's like the SD that's more of the problem. So with them taking Luna, now they pick up the Underlord. Why not pick up the Lone Druid? They would have a very, very tanky frontliner and Underlord that's going to naturally go for a mech pipe. They're going to have 2 different heroes that are hard to kill. They go for the Rubik. Rubik's also cool, contrary to popular belief, in like 5-man lineups because that null field is very, very strong. It was buffed, I think, like 2 or 3 patches ago, where I think it went like 5, 10, 15, 20, I think, and now it starts out at a static 10% and then goes up to 22. So it did get a pretty small buff, but it's still very noticeable at level 1. Yeah. So that extra magic resistance is very good when you factor in other things like mech, when you factor in like pipes or other types of mitigation.
They're going to go up against an Ogre Magi who happens to deal some magical damage himself, but of course I feel like you pick up an Ogre mainly for that Bloodlust buff that he provides, and the early roaming presence, of course, is strong. But yeah, Bloodlust on the Luna, of course, a sexy combination to have. So Underlord, you're talking about Underlord real quick, going back to that first pick of Infamous, that's another hero that, again, has been very popular, and overall seems like he's done pretty well. It seems like it took teams a little bit of time to kind of get used to the idea of the hero and how to use him effectively, but grouping up, taking advantage of that Dark Rift where you push in a tower and then you immediately Dark Rift to another lane to then push that tower. It can be pretty crazy to fight against that. So, you think Infamous is going to build this kind of synergy around Underlord of going this kind of team push?
You can, and I don't think it's necessary. But it is interesting to see Infamous ban out 2 offlane heroes that they love to play. Like, they love playing Darkseer as of late. And they love playing the Slardar. I think that's King Tekka on offlane, on Valkyria. I don't know for sure. They change their names so often. So I don't really know.
Yeah,
but whoever it is, regardless, I know that they really like playing offlane Slardar, and I know they love playing offlane Darkseer. So it's interesting they banned it out and went for something completely different this time. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to necessarily pick around an Underlord. I mean, he's going to do what he wants, whether he's got a team behind him to do it or not. So... But it would be nice. I mean, like I said, the null field in the mix, and then you put on top of that when you fade bolt a number of creeps and units, it's going to reduce their damage. It's just tons of damage, and not to mention the passive on Underlord reduces tons of damage. So they have already lots of damage mitigation with just 2 heroes picked.
Yeah, they definitely do, and that's going to be good against the likes of Luna herself, and of course even the illusions on top of that. So bans to follow now. We got Vengeful into Ember Spirit into Vengeful more so. Now 1 more ban on either side before advancing on. Obviously, both teams still need quite a bit right here. You figure Infamous still needs their 1, their mid, and then probably that 4 support where Team DileCom, they got their 1 and their 4-5, so still need another support mid in their off lane. So still plenty of options. You know, you got your, well, Slaughter's banned, I was about to say him, but Sand King once again could okay, he's going to be banned there, so never mind. Not going to be a Sand King. Infamous has their off lane most likely, so don't want to give Team DileCom a good one at least. Take that away.
Yeah, I know also Benjas loves Slark, which is decent against Luna with your ulti. You can just kind of rush at him. It's also not too bad against Ogre because while Ogre is very tanky, he doesn't do very much damage, so you can actually steal tons of the stats from him. Also, I just know that Benjas loves to play Slark. Slark Rubik's a pretty weak lane though. That's the only thing is when you pick up a Rubik, you want to potentially think of what can I couple with Rubik that maybe kind of boost my lane prowess, because like Rubik +1, you have to make sure that one is very strong. So something that can battle a little bit better. Something like maybe a Weaver, which is popular in its meta. You could go for that. Obviously, I don't think DileCom is gonna take a Weaver. They already have a Luna, but I've been seeing a lot more Weavers in the off lane nowadays, where they'll do something like no boots, rush Aquila into Medallion, and then they'll actually go for an Axe, and it works. It has actually great success. I've seen that a lot more. Oh, they're actually going to go for the Jug. Okay, so not the Weaver choice here.
Yeah, Juggernaut still, though, kind of one of those kind of signature just core heroes that we see quite a bit. So kind of fits the theme of, you know, grouping up and doing things together. Of course, the Healing Ward will provide plenty of presence. There we go. Also, some good damage, of course, as far as a core goes, and somewhat of a carry. So the immediate axe response from DileCom, though, and then Silencer coming out pretty quickly. So these couple of picks happening pretty quickly, one after the other. Is axe an obvious choice for you, or is that you're guessing?
It wasn't obvious, but I always think there's a time for an axe. I think that hero's. It's hard to me to find a situation where it's like, oh, axe isn't good here. Unless I don't know. It's always annoying playing axe against like an anti-mage, just because you just get your mana burned very, very quickly when you just got a Manta and you jump in. But I have seen so much success with Silencer lately. Like it seems that when teams draft him, if they're able to get out of the laning stage and say Silencer gets a couple of kills, or maybe not even kills, but some of that stolen, I just see him take off, and I see teams run away with that global silence ability in team fights. And now I don't know if they like you said, they picked it very, very quickly, so it's almost like they had it in mind regardless of what ever team DileCom is going to pick. But it is, even if they wanted to pick it before the axe is picked, it's actually quite good against axe, because if axe blinks in, uses the call on an important hero like Jug, pop the global silence, the initiation's over, and you can just kind of turn on the axe and they can't do anything about it. But so yeah, it is very good against the axe, and I don't even think they meant to pick it against that, because they picked it so quickly.
Yeah. Well, it just happens to be another bonus and another reason to pick it up, and yeah, we'll see how the Silencer does this time around. So, talk about how we've been seeing it more and more. Do you suspect it's going to be more of a core here or more of a support?
Witch Doctor.
Sure.
Either one?
Radiant team ban.
Support or core, sorry.
For the Silencer, you mean?
For the Silencer, yeah.
Yeah, well, probably support. I mean, they have their Jug. I mean, yeah, like it could go mid, I suppose, but I've seen a lot more success with it in the as a support.
10 seconds remaining.
And it would be another hero that could help out Rubik in the safe lane, which they might need, because when you see Axe, you're like, we don't want to give this guy an easy lane. We know what happens. They start to back lane. They get a Vanguard at like 6 minutes. Tranquil shortly after with the blink by 12 or something. If that happens, you're in a bad situation. So Silencer's a very good hero to kind of boost the power of your lane.
Yeah. All right, here we go. The final picks to come. Obviously, the final ban of Tinker taken away from Infamous. And he played pretty good Tinker game last game, so despite overall the game not going the best, taking that option away. Got Lone Druid is still on the board.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Gotta think that DileCom bans that here, right? The ban Razor. I mean, could Infamous actually go Lone Druid here?
Assassin. Radiant team
they could. It would go mid. Well, at least now they know what they're up against mid, which is the TA. Ember's banned. Yeah, honestly, the bear is quite good against TA mid. Just having multiple ways to attack, which are multiple ways to get rid of that refraction. You put in a Rubik to kind of roam in mid, and you're gonna be fine. Oh, they're gonna go for the Mappo. The Razor Keepos. I did want to say though, I'm not a big fan of the Witch Doctor, although it actually maybe helps a little bit now that they picked a Meepo into the Witch Doctor. But before that was picked, what is Cask really that great against? I mean, Jug can spin against it. You can ulti off the Death Ward when he starts to use the Death Ward. Wasn't the biggest fan of Witch Doctor, but now it actually might help them because they have a Meepo.
Yeah, a little ironic right there. That's how it worked out. Perhaps they almost expected it. I mean, you figure these teams maybe play each other quite a bit, so perhaps a little insight there, but or maybe just simply getting lucky somewhat. But not scary enough for Infamous to stay away from the Meepo pick. They still go it, and we'll see how it works out for them. But yeah, Meepo. So talking about now that middle matchup, Meepo versus
10
TA.
seconds remaining.
Does Meepo do good, or what's the deal?
5 seconds remaining.
Well, I don't think they picked it as a counter. I think they just wanted that from the beginning, and they just wanted to last pick it, and they were like, we're gonna pick me or what?
Yeah.
But it's definitely good against TA later. I mean, when you start to get all those items and all those stats, you jump on a TA, Refraction does nothing, BKB does nothing, so it's very, very good in that sense. In the laning phase, it could be a little bit dicey, because you're not going to be doing too much damage with your poof to TA, if any damage at all, through the Refraction.
Mm-hmm.
But Meepo's never about the laning stage. I mean, there's so many matchups that just crush Meepo in the lane. It's all about going to the jungle, taking advantage of stacks, boosting yourself to the mid game as fast as possible. And the mid game is where Meepo shines. The problem is they are against an Axe and they are against a Witch Doctor, two great heroes against Meepo. So, we'll see how confident he is in his Meepo play. But if Axe has a great start, it could be very, very bad for them. I think it in this Axe. I really do. I think he can make or break this game for Team DileCom. If he has a good start, I could easily see him taking over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's another hero where you figure, Meepo into that as well as a Witch Doctor. Well, a little curious, but hey, sticking to their guns. Perhaps they wanted it from the beginning, and we're going to see it right here. So we'll see how that works for Infamous. Of course, trying to finish the series 2-0, where DileCom still looking for their first individual game victory, actually. And, this is a chance for them to do it here. Again, they looked decent early on in the last game, only to fall behind. But who knows what can happen this time around. Definitely looking like they have their positives at least. But that's not going to help as Infamous manages to get 3 bounty runes to kick it off here. So it's interesting when we see teams do that. Some teams like to go for that steal or the aggressive play. Other teams just simply play it passive and just sit back. But I mean, level 1 bounty runes, that could be pretty important, I feel like. 3 bounty runes. So
I'm so confused with these wards placed by DileCom. Look, they placed 2 wards basically in the same spot, and neither one of them block the camp. I'm baffled. I'm a scientist, and I'm baffled. No, I don't. I have no idea what that's all about, and they're not even laning there. So it's like, why do you need the vision? I got nothing breaking.
That has to be. Was it placed by different people? I mean, that's like, yeah, it looks like it was because they're different wards. Like, so that's my only guess.
If you see the timing on it, all right, we got 4:33 and 4:30. So it was placed a good 2 seconds afterwards. So it wasn't like it was simultaneous. It was placed 2 seconds after the first one.
Yeah, close enough, I guess.
So, I don't know.
Anyway, there is a little bit. I mean, we saw, the last game, a little bit of tilt maybe, and maybe not communicating the best. So kind of just doing their own thing. Yeah, no, I don't. That's not intended. Is the ultimate point here, but is what it is. And well, they got plenty of vision down there at the Radiant jungle at least. But as you pointed out, I mean, they're not even laning down here. Super Benjes, he has free farm on the Juggernaut. Meanwhile, Silencer makes his way to the middle lane, realizing that, and is going to assist the Meepo here in the middle. But Ogre, he'll make his way, and that means it's going to turn into a 2 versus 2 now in this middle matchup. So far, though, we got TA 8-4, Meepo 5-1, so TA having the better start.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Witch Doctor is that he's got great base damage. I mean, right now he's hitting for just about 60 damage. And with the mitigation from Underlord, I think he maybe hit for like 55 or something like that. So he's able to actually effectively zone him out. Underlord's only got 2 CS. He's getting some experience, almost level 3, and will be level 3 after this, I think, which is totally fine for him. Maybe go for a kill. I'm interested to see also what kind of build this Witch Doctor goes for. I think just because you're up against a Meepo and you have an Axer team, I say go for the Maledict.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is a group up, go push team. So I don't think that the heal is going to be as effective as the Maledict. I mean, it's always effective. It's a great spell. But against a tanky hero like Underlord, I would, yeah, he already picked up the Maledict.
Yeah. No, it makes sense to me until they say with the Meepo and then tanky hero. And I personally always like the idea of a Witch Doctor, more the aggressive style. As by the way, the Dire Courier gets picked. Look at that, the hasted Silencer running on through. Gets to go back to the top lane. Speaking of that
I think he got him.
Maledict. Is that
Yeah, he's
enough?
got him.
There we go. First blood. He was running over to the shrine. Oh, so close. But he could not get there in time. So well played. And that's a first blood. So there you go. That's the Maledict already have an impact, actually.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's the right decision. Obviously, it was the right decision. Well, sometimes even if you get kills, it might not be the right decision later, but I think it is.
Yeah.
I think the Maledict's going to do the work this game. The Dire Courier got sniped up by a hasted Silencer. Not really much you could do about that, unfortunately, before 3 minutes. They are going to swing around on Z-Talk. He's only got the slow, but Suga runs up top. He might be able to get... No, he can't. Oh, he actually did TP, but there's a Luna there, so not only did he waste his TP, or not only did he feed, but he did waste his TP, and that's the worst feeling as a support. Now he's going to like the walk of shame to whichever lane. Probably... I don't know, he doesn't need to go bottom, maybe mid.
Yeah,
But-
go back to support the Meepo. That's unfortunate, though, for
Yeah.
Silencer right there. But, you know, a good
Meepo's up
attempt.
before.
So top...
Meepo was like
Yep.
right up in the face of TA, but didn't really care. He's level 5 now, and TA's level 5, so relatively even matchup, but that's always going to favor the Meepo. I mean, you want to... Even when you're destroying the Meepo in mid, it can favor the Meepo just because of how fast he can farm.
Yeah, pretty absurd. Definitely see some quick leveling Meepos. That's, you know, one of the big reasons why you pick him up, of course. He's going to scout with the Meepo right here, but... Oh, the cast comes out. It's going to fly through the air, but obviously going out too late.
Some really risky play right there. I don't know if he knew for sure that the Ogre didn't have stun or whatnot, but if that cast came out any fast, I guess he's fine because he didn't have stun. So
Yeah.
even if he did cast him, he couldn't re-stun him. Anyway, it's still kind of a ballsy play. He can shrine if he wants to.
He's heading over to the area as if he may want to, but nope, going to fall back and at least not going to do it just yet. Silencer taking over mid for the meantime. He's going to soak up some experience. He's still only level 2, so not a bad idea right here. Let's talk about TA for a second. Templar Assassin, early build, does he get that that Blink Dagger ASAP or maybe the Desolator? What do you see on him makes sense?
On TA?
On TA, yes.
I've seen most success with the Blink early. Just because I think you already dish out so much damage with Refraction plus your Meld Strike. So, I think when Ancient stacking was a bigger thing, I mean, certainly it is, but it's a lot more annoying now, right? Like, you have to make sure you stack it at the right time. Meantime, Benjes gets a nice kill with an Omni Slash when Axe tries to rotate bottom, makes him pay for it. But with stacking being a lot more annoying, you have to do it when it's the even times and it rolls over to the odd ones. And with Roshan just being in a different spot, it's not as easy to take freely anymore. I mean, give or take, you get a DD rune here or there. I just think that in most cases, Blink is just always more useful. So I would like to see him rush a Blink, but we'll see.
Top lane.
Action up top.
Yeah, they're going to initiate right here. The cask not going to be used just yet. Finally coming out. They do catch a Rubik. Maledict put down and easily secures the kill. Well, Maledict really wasn't even necessary at that point, but hey, kills the kill, and they'll be happy with that. Witch Doctor did take a lot of return damage, but he will run away. Look at this build by Witch Doctor, by the way. He actually does get a point into Voodoo Restoration still. At least, you know, 1 point of it. I don't know about you, but Maledict to me, it's like, if you only get 1 point in Maledict, it feels pretty damn weak.
Yeah, it does. It definitely is. But a lot of his spells outside of Maledict are one... well, I guess the first skill isn't really a one-skill wonder, but the Voodoo Restoration definitely is. It's very, very good. The mana per second that you spend is hardly anything. You can just have it on there all the time at level 1. So it's actually a pretty damn good one-skill wonder. I don't expect him to see him level it up past that. I would expect him to max out the cast and then go back for Maledict at this point. I do agree with you, though. Maledict seems pretty underwhelming at level 1. Hey, got the kill onto the Underlord quite easily, so as long as they have the damage on top of it,
Yeah,
should be
obviously.
fine, but I do agree with you.
Oh, TA, he's being pressured by Meepo. Now, Meepo's the one that needs to be careful, though. Ignite comes out. There's the auto attacks from Fan. You see the cask is going to start flying around. They got the Maledict on the back Meepo, and that should be enough for a kill right here. He's going to poof out with the wall, but not enough to get away. The Maledict wants to come down, but here comes the return. Ogre Magi goes down. TA going to fall as well. Got lifted up, and now Stan King on that Witch Doctor will be fine, but the 2-for-1 exchange, obviously killing Meepo pretty important, but they do lose their TA as well, so really overall in favor of Infamous there.
Yeah, I think they're totally fine with that, especially the fact that Silencer stole 4 int. So an added bonus there. Witch Doctor, he is between a rock and a hard place. I think he's definitely... That's going to be more int for the Silencer. Yummy, yummy. Can they?
Maybe.
He misses the uphill.
Oh,
He
no.
actually might live. Oh my god.
Curse comes
That level
out.
1 point, though. Curse. He can Shrine if he wants to, which I think he should. Yeah, that Axe having actually a very slow start. He had a good start in the jungle, blocked bottom though and died, and that really stifled his farm. He's only up to 700 gold, so quite a ways away from that dagger.
Yeah, I think that's what really set it off. Unfortunately for him, not doing too well. But you got on the other side, Super Vengeance. Look at this, Ring of Aquila, Phase Boots. Gonna spin in right here, actually. He has another Omni Slash, and this might be round 2. Yeah, no chance for him to escape. That's going to delay it even further now. As a result, top lane, they're going in, by the way, on a silencer. They kill the tower on top of that as the beam is used, but nice job with the Pit of Malice from the Underlord, stalling things. TA's here, however, opening, coming out with that meld, and doing that bonus damage, but Underlord chasing down the Luna, trying to secure kill him. Will go down, though, and down goes the silencer on top of that. A lift from Rubik, not going to matter, and now 2001, he might be in trouble. The Shrine not ready to be used. Yes, that is a kill for Van on that TA, so ultimately big time in favor of DileCom. Oh, they lost Luna, actually.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
TA
that.
can start to snowball now too, as she is going to go for the Blink Dagger first. Even though Luna died, I think that's totally fine, although she didn't. I wonder if she had enough gold to buy her helmet there. She was very, very close. She must have been like 15 gold off.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Bottom lane, spin on top of Axe right here. Use that Coaling Blade, but not enough, obviously. Now, yet again, another turn. The Pit of Malice catches, trying to crit him down. Not enough damage, though. And that Maledict comes out, still level 1, but the Eclipse from Luna doing plenty of damage. Don't know if it's going to be enough to tick down the Juggernaut. He'll spin and TP back. It looks like he will survive, actually, as he starts healing back up in the base. But we're not done down here just yet. Witch Doctor continuing to poke in. They place a pretty aggressive ward, and now TA, Refraction's up. He's thinking about diving this tower. I mean, it is Underlord, pretty tanky hero. He does have that magic stick as well. Gotta be careful with that decision making. Rubik, he's a little squishier. They're gonna go for him instead. Meanwhile, Witch Doctor did get picked off, and now they immediately regret this. In comes Silencer, Pit of Malice locking him in place. But Luna's here as well. Silencer gonna be picked off, and everyone else here for DileCom. I don't think Infamous was ready for that. And the chase is on all the way to the secondary tower. You have Juggernaut coming back in. Omni Slash not ready, but he does have that spin. That will be a kill on the Ogre at least. And I think the rest are going to actually run away, and we're finally done with this fight here. That fight lasted a while down here.
Yeah, crazy team fights there. But all in the meantime, Meepo's able to get a lot of space and take a tower. There is a Maledict onto him. He actually went for 2 points Cask, 2 points Voodoo Restoration. This is very strange to me. Also considering the fact that you can just trigger your Voodoo Restoration whenever you want to, and just that's an easy way to stop the Rook from getting a good spell from you. Good spell meaning anything other than Voodoo Restoration. And when you have it level 2, it gives them a little bit more value. So very interesting skill build here from the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely on board with you. Like I said, you know, Maledict just feels like it's one thing to get that 1.1 durability in the heal, but to not then level up that Maledict to just sit with the 1 point, it feels so underwhelming and almost like a you might as well just went the heal in the cask instead kind of deal. But he is going to somewhat of a unique build, you can argue. They're going to smoke up, by the way. They're going to look for a chance somewhere down here. TA does have that Blink Dagger, as we're talking about. They're looking for that target, but okay, they are going to be seen now, though. And Silencer going to be the target of choice. Does have Global Silence, cannot get it off in time, though. He will fall, putting out the last word, trying to maybe set up for some kind of turn. You see, Juggernaut, though, has that Omni Slash. Dark Rift in, coming out from the Underlord to assist, puts the Pit of Malice down immediately, gets the 1 kill onto the Ogre Magi. You got Witch Doctor. He had the Death Ward active from the side. No, the cast goes off, but the Omni Slash used first. Avoids the stun. Not enough return damage, though. And Rubik now the 1 and run. Look at that damage from TA. Nearly enough for the kill on a Rubik, but actually the heal comes out. And he'll be fine. So only the 1 kill after all of that said and done.
Up top.
Is that Meepo up here? Yeah, he's going for the Luna, actually, but he's in trouble himself. Meepo goes down. Got up at the top lane. Was that him going for Luna, or is that the other way around? As they
Jeez, and then Van gets taken out. Jeez, all sorts of weird things happen around the map, but yeah, there we see Meepo being picked into the Witch Doctor. Those casts are just so good against him. Even more, now he's putting 3 points of the heal into the Voodoo Restoration. This is just so strange to me, especially up against Meepo and an Underlord. Both, I feel like both the skills are so much better. But regardless, they got the kill on him, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, crazy. And then Van unfortunately dies over there near his shrine. They're going to take a tier 1 there. They want to defend this tier 2 top, and yeah, it does look like DileCom's going to back up.
What did I notice here? Oh yeah, that was Axe, by the way, as Rubik. Yeah, takes in Ignite, but I don't know how much they're going to chase. It seems like they want to make a play, but he's going to be lifted onto Ogre. The Pit of Malice rooting him in place. And ports off to the side. In fact, oh, Juggernaut's in trouble, though. The ultimate comes out from Silencer, but it's not enough to save him. And now Silencer himself also in trouble. You saw Axe right there using the Colding Blade. Not enough damage initially, but they do at least secure the kill. However, that will be on cooldown now. But a 2-for-0 exchange right there. So definitely a misplay from Infamous, as they were not really on the same page as far as porting in. And we're going to maybe still see a push here from DileCom. So DileCom early on is looking pretty good, Trout.
Yeah, and well, you know, I didn't think about it too much. I don't know why I didn't, but this TA is quite good against a Silencer, because Silencer doesn't really do anything against TA in the sense that when you've already the meld onto the Rubik, he stole it. They don't have any detection, so he's just going to stand there and be fine until Berserker Thaw comes out, so he's forced to use a spell and take himself out of meld. Unfortunate circumstances for him. But yeah, when you cast that refraction and you don't really need melt, but when you cast the global ulti, you can still blink around and still hit like a truck with your extra damage, with 80 bonus damage from refraction. So TA in a sense is a great counter against the Silencer. They already used the Berserker's Call onto the Jug. Global Silence, like I said, was generally a good tool against that, but TA doesn't care. TA just blinks it and did a ton of damage. The Silence doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
that's been paying off here. There's a couple things I want to talk about, though. We got Axe. Okay, he actually was lining up to build a Vanguard, it looked like, but he does decide to get the Blink Dagger first. And now he's going the Vanguard. So that makes sense to you. You need that Blink Dagger ASAP.
It was making sense until he got like a surge of gold after that last engagement. So he's like, well, if I'm really close, I could buy the Vanguard, but I'm like 200 away from Blink. Why don't I just buy the Blink? And
yeah.
I think that was probably his mode of thinking.
Meepo, the double Dragon Lance into his own Blink Dagger, and now he's going to be going that Eth Blade. Pretty standard?
Pretty standard, yeah.
Okay. Looking like they want to try Roshan, or at least Meepo's kind of curious about it, but
they see with that trap.
Yeah.
So they have full vision of this, and Meepo's starting to get low. He does have the life regen from his talent, but for 50% life steal. Here we go, Blink Call! No global. Oh, there is a global, but it doesn't matter. The spins come a galore. Tons of auto tag damage, and once you get those spins going, and those auto tags from the T8 does not care. They do not care at all about that global silence coming out from the Silencer.
That was huge. That's exactly why, though, Axe is so good against a Meepo. The perfect example right there. He hit all of them with a taunt. They just melted in the midst of that Berserker's Call, and now they're going to finish off Roshan. You see Silencer trying to harass them. Maybe Covert, there's no way. I mean, you can't get in there. So you see Panda's actually getting pretty damn low, but the heal's coming out from Witch Doctor, and that'll be enough to keep him alive. He gets the Aegis, and there's the blink from Axe to ultimately escape. So momentum continues for DileCom, now really jumping up there. Actually in favor now of the net worth, and meanwhile, while that's all happening, you have the Luna, the Helm of the Dominator, the Dragonlance now finished. Her Yasha, I believe she just purchased.
Right. And this is not one of those games, actually, whole lot thought is there is a team fight kind of brewing here. Lift up, that's going to be a free Aegis used here onto the TA. I'll let you take this one.
Clips bouncing around in the background. Super Pen just spin, though, on top of Luna. She goes down goes the TA. And all of a sudden, Infamous is feeling pretty good about themselves. A 2-for-0 exchange, and the chase continues. Meepo, he's going to do that. He poofs right in on top of Witch Doctor, gets the one. The net is not going to connect on Ogre Magic, but something tells me they're going to run him down eventually. He pops Bloodlust. He's keeping on running. He does have Axe coming in, so maybe not going to be able to catch him in the end. Although Meepo, yep, never mind. He changes that. More poofs to come. There's another net, and Axe is like, do I go? Yeah, probably not. Double kill for Tatsuki right there on the Meepo. We're not done just yet, apparently. Underlord with the illusion, scouting out the Axe right there, but he blinks away, and that will be the end of it. But there we go for Infamous. All of a sudden winning a big fight here.
Yeah, boy, I think it's safe to say Infamous are not early game players. They seem to just really thrive in this mid-game section. Same thing last game, except even worse last game, but they had a better start in this game, of course. But man, it was really that freebie Aegis steal. Up, Blink Call on Jug. Not enough damage though. Deathward coming out, but it's just simply not enough. They really need that damage to TA. She's going to put her focus on this Silencer, and really just going to be the food for TA all this game. Done coming out on a Rubik. He did steal his Bloodlust, so he's actually pretty speedy, but taken down, getting slowed by the Orb of Venom and the other slows involved. So An easy 2-0 now, just back and forth, ping-ponging all over the place.
Yeah, it's a couple of supports, though, so I don't think Infamous is necessarily too worried about that happening. But yeah, you are right. It does feel like, obviously, between the first game and now this one, Infamous feels a little more comfortable about, sure, the early game, not necessarily as much, but then they start coming online and playing pretty well. But that right there will help DileCom take another tower out. And Axe, actually, he does get a big call right here onto Juggernaut. The spin, though, was used right before, and that prevents plenty of damage onto him. And so he will survive, and they need to be careful about you're not getting turned on yet again. Doesn't look like that's the case, so they're going to finally retreat. Desolator has been finished on TA, by the way. We see here now.
Okay. It still just seems so weird to me that you wouldn't max your Paralyzing Cask against a Meepo. Still seems so strange, but anyway, yeah, Axe is going to be good from start to finish. What I was going to say is this wasn't one of those games where it's like, well, DileCom's leading and at least you have the Meepo to fall back on, but it's like the more Meepos you get, the worse off it becomes if the Axe is on par or is on point with all of his blink calls. So you just got to be really, really careful about that.
Yeah, it does seem like that could be a little bit of a trap somewhat for Meepo, but, you know, he has the Eagle Song, and that Eth Blade is just around the corner, and obviously he has potential to pick off nearly anyone in this game, maybe other than the Axe, once he gets that. But Luna, talk about too, she has her Manta style in the works and gonna scout out actually pretty aggressively here in the Radiant jungle, but they see that their top lane's being pushed in. However, they probably want to think about getting back as Juggernaut's already hitting on the tower. They're running back, but I guess they just don't have any, yeah, they don't have any TPs actually. This is somewhat of a free push. However, Infamous now will start falling back as they realize time's been wearing thin and they don't see them much anymore, so they were correct there. That they were about to get jumped perhaps. Underlord does have Guardian Greaves finished, by the way. That could be useful. Oh, well, we have initiation right here. Pit of Malice going to be canceled initially, gets it off. And now here comes Juggernaut, but cannot get close enough. The cat's back there around the background. Axe, he comes in with that call, but he's by himself somewhat. The spin right on top of the Death Ward is coming out. Doing some good damage for the Witch Doctor right here. Channeling it from the background. Axe, he's going to end up falling as the Omni Slash bounces around. It does catch the Witch Doctor as the heal comes out to the steal of the heal that is from Rubik. And the buyback onto Axe. The only death so far, but back here, Ogre Magi, he's going to be another death. Meepo catches him. Yeah, Z-Talk, oh, well, he escaped earlier, actually. So maybe he's going to run away some way, somehow again. No, not this time, they say. They do chase him. But we're not done just yet. Eclipse is ready. The Pit of Malice catches 3, but the lift onto Luna. She's taking some good damage. Can she get the Eclipse out at least? Yes, she can. But she's completely running this whole time. The silence comes out as well. The global silence from the silencer on top of that. They lose the Ogre. The TA goes down. Down goes the Witch. Down goes Luna. And Axe, the only survivor, and maybe not for long. He's trying to chase down that Juggernaut, but he cannot. It's a cleanup in favor of Infamous. A 5-0. They did not lose anyone.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Man, I feel like this Axe is just not having the same, is on the same wavelength as the rest of the team. I don't think that they were ready at all for that first initiation that he had. Luna was backing up as he went in. TA was nowhere near. TA was trying to go run around in the back lines with I think he still had a haste ring bottled up. They were just not on the same page, and it costs dearly. That's 1 Rex, that's 2, that's 3. That's 2 sets of Rex. They can't go for the last one because they don't have that last tier 2 tower, but man, that's close to just beating the game right there off of one mistake from honestly the initiation max.
Yeah. And then there's the Dark Rift reset. You know, he ports the whole team to the bottom lane, and they're just going to push that out now. So you definitely see what you're saying, though. Axe really feels like maybe on another page when it comes to the initiation choice right there. So unfortunately, that team fight really sets them back now. 10,000 net worth lead, upwards of a 10,000 experience lead. Of course, you look at Meepo, who's almost level 20, soon to be level 25. We know how fast he can level. He's basically hitting a level per minute at this rate. And actually, an Iascati now, next in line, almost finished for him. Diffusal Blade picked up on Juggernaut. I feel like we haven't seen as much Diffusal Blade lately, but it's going to happen here on Juggernaut. Is Meepo in trouble, by the way? He might die. Yeah, he is in trouble. He goes down up here at the top lane. Okay, well, at least that's a kill for DileCom. Be happy with.
It's something. It's something, but they're going to need a lot more of that.
Yeah.
I think it's just with 4 racks down so quickly at such an early point in the game, that's just so much gold gained, not only for Infamous, but so much gold lost in terms of all the creeps are going to be so much less now for Infamous, or sorry, for DileCom. And when you're down this much net worth, hitting creeps for like 20 gold or whatever it is just not going to cut it.
Diffusal Blade on Juggernaut. So I was kind of saying there, I feel like we don't see it as much anymore. Is Diffusal Blade still pretty good, do you think? Or?
Yeah, I hear a Luna ult coming out from the Rubik actually in the meantime. And then a counter initiation. It looks like the Ogre is maybe going down, or is he?
He's
Shrine.
He's proven to be tanky, man. Yeah, and that Shrine keeping him alive. But here we go. The spin comes out from Juggernaut. Another global silence used, but Juggernaut's actually dying right here. He goes down. Meeple's still dead, remember. And they're going to lose Underlord. Not the fight to take if you're Infamous. That feels like that's the #1 issue still with teams. Fighting at the enemy Shrine like that when it's ready to be used. I mean, it really will catch you off guard. And you figure by now teams are conscious enough to figure, okay, maybe we don't want to do that. But... that's what helped them turn that there.
I don't think teams are, to be frank. I forget about it all the time. I think other teams probably do too. It's just, oh boy, that's probably my one gripe. I hate the Shrines. I'll just say it. I'm not a fan of them.
No? Okay.
But you got to get used to them. They're part of the game. So not only do you have to get used to them, but you have to find the ways to, make the most of them. And certainly DileCom did right there. And you gotta respect that. Definitely have to respect them Shrines. Oh god, that was a very, very quick pick off there onto the silencer. Right around Roshan too, but it looks like they want to fight. He does have a buyback, but he doesn't have global up just yet. He's gonna have global in 60 seconds.
Juggernaut kind
no
of...
Omni Slash either.
Yeah, he was scouting it out, but no Omni Slash, so not as comfortable to fight perhaps. But another thing about last fight too, though, not only the Shrine, but again, they fought without Meepo. They're gonna be forced to fight here with the Underlord getting jumped, so actually never mind, they will fall back. Meepo is kind of nearby. Underlord does not have a buyback. He's dead for 40 seconds now. They will be without him if they choose to defend this right here. I gotta think they are, though. They are wrapping around. Axis keeping his distance. He wants to initiate. Oh, he misses the call, actually. A nice dodge right there, but Roshan goes down. The 8 is picked up by Van, but here we go with the timing. Meepo jumps in. Van is dropping. They get the one Meepo low, though. Meepo needs to be careful not to die right here. They do kill TA, but you look at the one. Meepo, can he escape with the poof out? No, he cannot. Down goes Meepo. No buyback for 80 seconds, but he got in the background. The Mantis style used by Juggernaut, tearing through TA. Good force staff away, but now Silencer trying to finish him off. That's the support Silencer, though. But Rubik will help do the job. Omni Slash now activated by Juggernaut. Catches Axe, really all the damage onto him. He goes down. Luna picked off prior in the fight, of course. And now Witch Doctor, there's that Diffusal Blade slowing him down. And that should be enough kill to secure the kill onto him as well. So, not the prettiest fight right there, losing Meepo especially, but it worked out for Infamous, I guess, here.
Yeah, tier 2 down. Meepo, I guarantee if Meepo had a buyback, he'd use it right now. They could just go push. Actually, they probably don't even need him. There is a buyback on Luna. She's not going to use it with 10 seconds left. No buyback on Axe. No buyback on TA. There's a buyback on the Witch Doctor. Might have to use it. I think you've got to use your buyback if you're Witch Doctor. Yeah, there you go. One last draw. With this pop, maybe buy some time for the Axe to come up and get a good call. But this time, Global Silence is up. They did that all without Global Silence.
True. Yeah, DileCom maybe just too far behind. This is the third Rax, obviously, that they're just trying to destroy right here. You have Ogre Magi in those front lines. He's proved to be pretty tanky and tough to kill this game. He's going to prove that once again, as he will somehow survive. But Axe in the background, there's the global silence. Axe jumps in, all of a sudden everyone's silenced, and the follow-up is little. Dark Rift activated, actually. He's trying to get them out of here. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, they don't kill Luna as a result, but he does get them all out safe without any casualties, and you know what? The other lane's being pushed in. That's just fine. If you're Infamous, you can reset and have Meepo now.
Are under attack.
A cask bouncing around. Meepo, though, with the Eye of Scotty, by the way, now.
Loyal warrior.
As well.
Yep, just really, really tanky. And then also the pickup of the pipe for the Underlord. So lots of damage mitigation. They don't even have that much magic damage outside of the clips, and the easy pick off onto the Witch Doctor. He just bought back, so that's under 50 seconds on the sidelines. Omni Slash cooling down in 7 seconds. No global, of course, but I don't even think they need it.
No, I don't think they need it. I think it's pretty much with Meepo especially pushing with, and this could be the final push here as Ogre Magi runs into Meepo, and well, Meepo actually playing a little bit safe, but there we go. The F-play nuke will finish him off in the end. And now they're chasing down. Nice job. Hannah Midas actually takes away the helm of the Dominator creep. Nice little mini counter item. And this will be mega creep. So DileCom just basically delaying the inevitable. It feels like again in the background. Meepo catches Luna, and that should all but officially do it. It looks like 2-0 in the books for Infamous here over DileCom. So DileCom, you know, they got close early game at least, both games. They looked pretty good, but were not able to pull it through. Infamous just grinded it out and eventually got to the good state themselves and victorious. So DileCom gonna have to wait a little bit longer to try to get their first victory here in the group stages, Trell.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's going to be a little hard to build up that motivation when you know with a score like that it's just impossible to advance.
Yeah.
But it could be good learning experience for maybe future tournaments, or you know, there's always skills and things to be learned from matches, even if you know you can't advance. So hopefully they're able to keep their heads up and still perform throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, we were kind of hinting at that. That is the one little bit of a downside with this format, it being the one team that qualifies, and you got a team like DileCom now being with their 4th series last year. It's they, as you said, mathematically, really they are out of it no matter what happens here. So, but you hope that again, learning experience, you get the chance to play against some top tier teams here in a tournament format where for them at least going to be something on the line. So take it for what you will, and hopefully they continue to play it out at least somewhat strong here, but. Infamous, they're trying their best, and a 2-0 here is obviously going to help their cause at trying to be the team that represents America, but it's going to be continuing to be a grind here throughout the next week at least. But Trout, that means our first series is going to be wrapping up here, but we got a really good series coming up next. I know I'm excited. I'm sure you are, and everyone tuning in. DC versus Complexity. This should be a good one. Excited for it, Trout?
Yeah. Yeah, and as we were talking in the break, I mean, well, not even just in the break, but just in general, it's very surprising that DC didn't get an invite with their recent success. So, we'll see. We'll see what they can pull out, or we'll see what Complexity can pull out in this next series.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. It shouldn't be too long of a break. This should line up pretty well for our next game. The lobby looks like it's already up, so just a matter of time here before we get things moving along into our next series, Complexity versus Digital Chaos. I'm Bricky CPK, joined by Tralf here. You're tuning into the Star Ladder iLeague Star Series American Qualifiers. Next series coming up, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.